Status booster. Go. Fido. Go. Guidance. Go. Good for staging, Captain.
This is Houston. You are go for staging.
They look good on the ground for staging. And Foreman says same here. We got S2 cut off. We got S4 B ignition.
What you just saw there was a very shortened version of a Saturn V launch, with the slight exception of its payload. That being my fever dream of a design called the Passive Brute Force Vehicle, PBFV for short. The basic premise of this was just to show that we could have done it during the Apollo ages if we really did care about the space debris at the time. The way that it works is that you see all the spread out sheets and such. These are intended to be steel sheets that are just going to be really reinforced to take on impacts directly from debris. Why? Because with orbital mechanics in mind, everything around you is traveling at ludicrous speeds. You will never find something traveling at the same relative speed to you unless it was one having the same inertia and energy along with you on the ride. Two, you specifically rendezvoused and slowed down to its speed. It is also a bit inefficient to actively try hunting down debris due to the fact that most of them are undocumented due to their size, or two, many of which are in very interesting orbits, which takes energy to get into and out of every orbit. So like I said before, this is just specifically designed to take on as many impacts as it can and try catching it or slowing down the debris. This is just due to the fact that most debris are just so small that they're very insignificant. I mean, most of them are probably just human feces at this point. And like I also stated before, it's somewhat inefficient trying actively hunting down or using other methods like nets and such. Of course, it's more efficient just because you don't have to do a lot with it. Now, another thing I forgot to mention is that we can treat this as like a space station. We can do routinely crewed checkups on it. In addition, the payload never separates from the third stage, and the S4B still has an engine. With some tweaking around with the stage, we can add the ability to do fuel transfer using modules, and this is the payload that the CSM is currently carrying. And on the line of crewed checkup, there are guardrails on this thing just to make sure that our astronauts don't actually let go and, drift off into space forever. Unless you want that. I don't know why you would. Our parents lied when they said people are inexpensive. A single launch to space is like $1 million. Those astronauts are expensive. Yes, this also means they can try repairing the system if needed, but I'm pretty sure this would only be need to if a critical failure went on, like the instrument unit no longer works, so the entire thing is uncontrolled. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. This thing is automatically controlled by its computers or getting signals from ground crew. It's mostly autonomous though, just trying to keep its attitude right and not trying to fall back to Earth thanks to orbital decay and such. Now there's this other solution that we could probably do now, and that's just putting a giant steel wall on the SpaceX Super Heavy booster. Launching that up into space, having this Super Heavy get caught by Mechazilla back down, and having just that orbit around the Earth carefully, and I say carefully in mega quotation marks, swiping debris left and right, and then it can deorbit itself over Point Nemo, which is basically, where the Pacific is, left of America, how it's just ocean. Yeah, that point, just ocean. We can just deorbit the giant wall over there. It'd probably break up and burn into multiple pieces, slowing down even more. And yeah, you can imagine that on your own. I'm not. I just have this image. I'm past due anyway with this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, Mr. Johnson. I'm talking to nobody at this point.